Deliverance, 1972, directed by John Boorman, a film that challenges man's nature and the nature of man. And is he up to the challenge? Hi, my name is Peter Andronis, and here we are with Movie Inquisition. Talk about film. I love film. And we'll talk about other things as well, but it'll vary. Most of the time, we're going to be focusing on film and different aspects. Either talk about classics, or we're going to talk about films we just reviewed or seen on video, home video, or films we saw in the theater. And as I mentioned earlier, also classics of cinema. Hi. A classic film that I want to talk about, which is for me one of the greatest films made, and it's in my 5-star collection, is called Deliverance, made in 1972 by John Boorman.
Hey, mister, I love the way you wear that hat.
Deliverance stars Jon Voight, Burt Reynolds, Ned Beatty, and Ronny Cox.
You don't know nothing.
Notice the use of wide shots and close-ups that really dramatize in the frame the way they're being used.
Good. No, not ask him about his hat.
Interplaying the different actions of the characters and what they're witnessing, what they're experiencing, and the sounds are very well used in the scene, one of the opening scenes.
I don't think you understood me. I want to get some drivers to drive this car and that car down to Aintree. Drivers, you understand? You might get a driver, brothers. Who? The driver, brothers. Where do they live? They live back over that way.
About genetic deficiencies. Not pitiful. Who's picking the banjo here?
So, what it is about this film, I mean, it's definitely a riveting thriller, suspenseful, but you have to think back, this is 1972, and there was a tendency of making a lot of great films in the 70s in American cinema, but a lot of times the camera work was very sort of modern in a sense. Well, the camera would move sometimes in a documentary style, a little bit, not too much. This is before Spielberg. I mean, he had done Duel, but still we hadn't arrived, as much as he had arrived when he did Jaws. and even he did Sugar Land Express, which was beautifully shot. Jaws was his major film, and and that's what catapulted him and made him a big director. But Deliverance came before that in '72, and beautifully directed and edited, and that was one of the wonderful things. I like how the wide shots were used, and these three men, they go to a out in the woods to go rafting on this wild water, and a beautiful location with the mountains and nature, because it's going to be destroyed, and it's going to be, man's going to build on it, and they want to experience this.
Yeah, we both do. You better let them show us. You're missing the whole point, Ed.
Where are you going, city boy?
We'll find it.
It ain't nothing but the biggest fucking river in space. Louis, you son of a bitch, why do we have to go so damn fast?
You're gonna like it, Ed. You see the river, you're gonna like it.
I said three men rafting in the wilderness. Actually, it's four men, the four actors I mentioned earlier starring in this film.
Are you gonna call him out now? Come on! Right! All right! All right! All right, now left! Left! All right! Woo! Keep it straight! Got my tree left! Watch your head! We ain't gonna make it! Woo! Hey, this doesn't seem right! Just a little unorthodox.
Apart from it being a riveting suspense film, is it reminded me, or it awakened in me, why we have such an admiration for American actors in American film. Because if you see what the actors do in Deliverance, without giving away plot lines again, when you witness what these actors do to create the performances they do, I can't think of any film in any country before this that where you see such incredible dedication to the craft, and not just performing, which means delivering dialogue and intensity, or crying, or getting scared, because it's a suspense film. There's a lot going on. It's very intense, but they expose themselves in such a way. It's the things that happen to them are so disturbing, and there's such an exposition of their experiences that if anyone was in an experience like that, you would imagine that's how you would be affected. But it's so, because it's a riveting script, obviously, and I mean they had to perform it. But a lot of times I don't think actors could, or a director would make those choices. The actors make those choices to show so much of themselves, and so vulnerable. Again, not wanting to give away a scene. It's the Squeal the Pig scene, and for those who've seen it, you'll know what I mean. It is very disturbing, and what makes it extremely disturbing, because a lot of times they say, okay, this film had this kind of thing in it, or whether it was an attack on a woman, or a rape, or a very violent killing, but it's how you show it. And Deliverance stands out. I can't think of anything before it where it stands out like that. Maybe in Cold Blood, which was made in the 60s, was again a compelling film, was pretty scary and riveting in the way it portrayed killers. But I think in this movie there's just so much you know, it's like primal and it's real and you can believe that and you can feel it, and Deliverance delivers in that sense. And when you see that actors can show that and really perform it with such conviction, and these were American actors, well, you know, you become so awakened by American cinema. American cinema awakens you to what they can be as in film, what they can do in film, how they can you know, really put you in suspenseful situations. I think that Deliverance is probably a film that has been copied over and over again, maybe even without realizing it. Filmmakers are always trying to make palpable suspense and fear and make you feel queasy the way that Deliverance does.
You know something? You're right. We're lost. We don't know where in hell we are.
A hell?
Right, yeah. You making some whiskey up here. Well, buy some from me. We could use it, couldn't we?
Boy, you know what you're talking about?
Oh, we don't know what you're talking about.
No,
Honestly, we
you
don't.
said something about making whiskey, right? Ain't that what you said?
All I no.
We don't know what you're doing, and we don't care. That's none of our business.
That's right, son. You goddamn business. Right.
We've got quite a long journey ahead of us, gentlemen. Well,
Hurry? You ain't
Jesus.
going no damn where.
There's a shot of I'm just going to say this part, there's a shot of a man dying, but the close-ups, and then after he's dead, and there's so many close-ups, and for a good reason, because you're dealing with this body, and it really shows you the queasiness you would feel, and you would have to deal with this body, and you're looking at it if you're handling the body, and I mean, it's so, like I said, palpable.
Like you said, there was nothing else we could do.
is he alive?
Not now. Well, let's get our heads together. Come on now, let's not do anything foolish. Anybody know anything about the law?
Look, I was on jury duty once. It wasn't a murder trial.
Murder trial.
The fact that they did it this way, that was the choice. I mean, they could have made a choice and just cut to them burying the body, and that's it. But this is actually dealing with it. And I think all these choices that are made in the film make the film, make you excited about where American cinema was going. And that, I think, that love affair for cinema has continued, for American cinema has continued to this day because of a film like Deliverance, and that's a perfect example. And then we will talk about another film that would be in my 5 stars. Another time would be Jaws, and Jaws offers something in a different way, and not in the same way as Deliverance, but again, it's about what each film offers, a different language, and that's why I don't like all directors who give you the same language. You know, once it's done, like it was done, let's say in Deliverance in this case, you want to see something different. And I think that that's what art is about. You know, what Van Gogh did, or what Matisse did, and you know, Michelangelo was different, but each of them had a voice. Anyways, I'm signing off, and we'll talk more about classics and more about recent films on our next time together. Thanks. Bye-bye.